Hello, troopers, and welcome back to G.A.R. Productions. If I were to ask you what the best figure that LEGO has ever made for LEGO Star Wars, what would you answer? I'm sure there's a multitude of answers, and it's going to obviously depend on who you ask, and there's multiple options for that figure. Perhaps I narrow it down. What do you think is the best army building figure? What's maybe not the easiest one, but is the coolest looking or was the best quality that LEGO has made? I have an interesting take on that, not for the overall continued design, but for how little it's changed, and I still think it looks incredible to this day. I think maybe not the best figure or the best army, but I think it is the best army building figure, truly. But maybe not the best figure, but one of the best figures LEGO has ever made. I think it's the B1 Battle Droid. The history of that figure is as a fascinating look into LEGO Star Wars, as it's changed very little since 1999, which you really can't say for most other figure, any other figure. It's had very few but nice upgrades when they have come. It's had many variants and changes to other B1s, which we will look at, but does it truly need to be changed? And we'll look at that at the end. Truly the first true army building figure to be released, in my opinion. It was released in 1999. All other, like what you would think of as primary army builders for the main factions that people are mostly interested in building, you have Stormtroopers, didn't come out to 2001. I talk about that in my history of the Imperial Stormtrooper. Check that video out. I'll have it in the end screen if you guys haven't watched that. Clone Troopers weren't till like 2003. Phase 2 Clone Troopers weren't till 2005. Rebel Fleet Troopers weren't till 2008. And if you want to be technical, some people like building Mandalorian armies, and that's very cool, but those were way later, like, 2010, 2011. So they're the first true army building figure that LEGO made, and they're the only one that has pretty much not changed at all. They're a truly timeless LEGO Star Wars figure. The Battle Droid has remained unchanged pretty much fairly since 1999 to the present day, and I'll go over the few changes it has. Some people think it is time for an upgrade, though. I still think it looks amazing. I don't know if it needs an upgrade. I'll talk about it more later in the video. But truly, if you think about it, though, every other figure since 1999 has been upgraded and changed many times over the years, but yet the B1 really has. The B1 Battle Droid really has not. The first change was very small. I didn't even realize this till looking into it. The first change was changing a translucent orange cone on the end of the megaphone blasters to a stud, which I think looks a lot better. I kind of forgot that they did that in like 1999 and 2000. So that was the first change for the B1. Nothing crazy. The biggest change, obviously, would be in 2007 with the MTT, perhaps one of the top 5 LEGO Star Wars sets of all time, would be that the battle droids, instead of having the sidearm with the megaphone blaster, went to the new black blasters, and they got straight arms, and it's been that way ever since. I do find it interesting. I don't know if they just did it for the other droids in the vehicle manning the STAP, but it is interesting that the battle pack in the beginning of the year came with the megaphone blasters in the side arms, and then in the summer we had the MTT where they had the straight arms instead of the curved with the new blasters. I just find it interesting, nothing too crazy, but just kind of an interesting thought. At various times, a few droids, not often, but a few times, B1s came with 1x2 plates. It's very rare, though. The only 2 sets that are like 3 sets that I know of off the top of my head that even came with it was like the first STAP set in 1999 that came with 2 STAPs, and Jar Jar and Qui-Gon, those had backpacks, but even in the same year, the other set, I think it was the Naboo Starfighter in the same year, did not have the backpacks. Another one, like the Corporate Alliance tank from 2013, had a 1x2 plate that was not on the instructions, but it was there so you could put it on the back of your B1, but then the ATTE, who had the B1 and the B1 Commander, had none. So it's kind of a random, weird thing. I don't know why. Sometimes they did it, and then most of the time they did not. But every once in a while, it was a rare occurrence that they did that. And then really the only changes since the straight arm was about 2020. They started giving B1 battle droids the slightly silver metallic blasters instead of the black blasters to help kind of differentiate them from the clones that they usually would fight. The figure has also been perhaps the easiest army to build per set, at least, coming in 2 battle packs, one being obviously that 2007 droid battle pack, the other one being the Clones vs. Droids battle pack from the beginning of 2024. It has come with there's been 3 MTTs, ranging from 6 droids to 16, being the middle one, and by far probably it will be the best. There is a rumored fourth one for 2025. I kind of doubt it will be better, but I'm hoping that'll at least be second best, which would be pretty okay in my opinion. And then, however, what technically you want to look at it, there's coming 3/4 troop carriers. The one from, I think, 2002. Then there was one, I believe, in 2012. The one in 2015. And then the gift with purchase from 2024 as well, if you want to technically throw that in there. And on top of it, coming in the most amount of sets of any one kind of figure. I should have counted them up, but I'm sure it blows any other possible figure that's come in a lot of sets out of the park, except for maybe all the variants of like Luke Skywalker might have come in more sets, but I kind of doubt that. I kind of think the B1 has been in the most sets. I really should have checked on that. I apologize. I really should have checked who's been in more sets, Luke Skywalker or the B1 Battle Droid. There's some really nice variants as well. Really adds to your droid army and the desire, I think, of the B1 in general, and how well they've really done at doing variants. Some of the first ones were in like 2000, 2001, 2002. 2000, we got the B1 Commander. There was also like a little Jedi versus droids, a little tiny kind of pseudo pre-battle pack thing. More like an accessory pack would be more akin to what it was like, but it came with Qui-Gon, and then it came with a security droid, which both the security and then the commander from that and another little droid pack honestly were the best variants of them until like post 2012. The ones in like 2005 and even security in 2012 really was kind of a downgrade, honestly. There was better printing and better styling on, like, especially the droid heads, and also better printing on the B1 Commander back then than there was until like post 2012. So that's kind of interesting. They kind of went the cheater, not the cheater, but the easy way out for a little while. I'm glad that they've stepped up their game with the B1 variants. Also in 2001, I believe we had a B1 pilot, not the greatest pilot. It only had like a tiny little blue speck when there was supposed to be a lot more. Obviously, the most modern pilot is the best, with a little bit extra, tiny little bit more detail than the past B1 pilots that we got again in 2024. Again, security droids have appeared in multiple sets. Again, the ones that are really good have been the few sets that they've been in. They really haven't been in that many sets. Off the top of my head, I can think of 4 right off the top of my head. It's probably more, but I know it came. One came in the 2012 Jedi Interceptor, and that was probably the worst one that they've made, unfortunately. One came in that Jedi versus Droids little pack, and then I think in like 2 of the newer N1 Starfighters, you've had security droids. But that's really all the ones I can really think of off the top of my head. They've not really come out in a lot of sets, unfortunately, for a droid that is somewhat prominent in Episode 1 and it's very prominent in Episode 3 in that on the Invisible Hand. Definitely wish we could get more B1 securities. The most valuable variants of the B1 are going to be the Geonosius B1s, the most valuable being from 2003 being the sand pink B1s. They only came in the Geonosis, like Starfighter with the Geonosian cannon set. I believe that was the only year they came in, and they fetch a hefty price. Unfortunately, just the quality of Lego, they are not the... all of them don't always survive the best, unfortunately, up to this day. Some they do a little bit better than the B2s, which we'll have to look at the B2s at some point for their history, but that is the most expensive variant of the B1. And then coming in behind them, not near as expensive, but I believe it is the second most expensive. I think like $15 to $20 now are going to be the 2013 sand orange B1s, and then the B1 Commander from that ATTE that I mentioned earlier. So those are some of the most expensive B1 variants. And then the last 2 variants that come from the Clone Wars, we have the B1 Rocket Battle Droids. Those came in a couple sets. Also the B1 Rocket Commander. I believe the 2 sets they came in were the Tri-Fighter and the Hyena Bomber. And then the last ones have been more recent. The most recent AAT is one, the droid gunship. They're labeled as Kashyyyk battle droids, at least in the gunship, but then they're in the AAT, which actually, if you look at their markings, they're not Kashyyyk battle droids. They are, in fact, B1 tank drivers that you see many times in the Clone Wars. I thought I would also, as I do in these videos, do a quick thing of ChatGPT. Guys, it did really well with the history of army building. I was fascinated with its abilities. When I'm looking up the history of a particular figure or kind of figure, I am far less impressed. They get a lot more things. ChatGPT definitely needs more help on the figure side instead of the army building side. Like, army building was incredibly correct. There was very few things that were off. This one, this and the Stormtrooper are a lot worse. But anywho, the Star Wars Battle Droid is a popular figure within the LEGO Star Wars theme, representing the battle droids seen in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and other entries in the Star Wars prequel trilogy. These droids, made by the Trade Federation, serve as soldiers in the Clone Wars, and they are commonly used by the Separatists in the Star Wars universe. Development history. LEGO first introduced the Star Wars theme as a theme in 1999, capitalizing on the release of The Phantom Menace. This was also the first time LEGO had ventured into licensing themes outside of their own original IPs. The Battle Droid was part of the initial wave of LEGO Star Wars sets and have been released in various forms and designs since then. The first Battle Droid set, released in 1999, coincided with The Phantom Menace. The LEGO Battle Droid first appeared in LEGO Star Wars set 7101, Anakin's Pod Racer in Tatooine. I don't think so. It wouldn't called that. Maybe 7101 is the proper set name, but not the actual proper name of the set. Let me hold on. I apologize here. Nope, that is not correct. There was 2 sets, but neither of those are correct. Unfortunate for ChatGPT. That's a loss. That's an L. As the LEGO Star Wars theme expanded throughout the 2000s, LEGO started refining the Battle Droid design. The character design in the sets became more accurate to the Star Wars films, incorporating more specialized parts and elements. Not really, like I've already gone over. The only thing that's changed is the straight arm, and that was 2007. That was the only really big change. In 2002, LEGO released Battle Droid and Stap, one of the first sets to feature an updated Battle Droid design with a more streamlined appearance, including specialized parts for the legs and arms. The legs have literally never changed in 25 years. So yeah, not bright, unfortunately, this time. In 2008, with the release of Star Wars The Clone Wars, LEGO introduced new sets inspired by the series. This was a turning point for the design of the Battle Droid as the figure began to receive more articulation, making it easier to pose and position in battle scenes. Received a significant redesign in 2008 to make it more accurate and capable of standing and moving in different poses. Again, the only thing that's changed is the arm. Unless you're talking about like the people who don't like the who want to see a change and have made posable arms and legs. Not really true. The LEGO Battle Droid continued to evolve in the 2010s with additional variants appearing in sets like the Separatist Shuttle, 75086, that's not a Separatist Shuttle, and 75182 Republic Fighter Tank. Those were just regular B1s, but that's beside the point. By this time, LEGO had fine-tuned the Battle Droid design further, offering different versions like the Super Battle Droid. I would keep that different, but that's beside me. The Geonosis Battle Droid, which featured additional elements and parts to match their on-screen appearances. Well, not parts, just different colors. Anywho, key characteristics of the Battle Droid: the minimalistic design. The Battle Droid features a relatively simple design with basic limb and head movement, flexibility. The first LEGO Battle Droid was not as posable as the current iterations. It literally has not changed. It is the same. Appearance in multiple sets, agree with, from the Phantom Menace and Tactical Clones, and etc., etc. And specialized parts. Over the years, LEGO developed specific parts for the Battle Droid's head, arms, and legs. Not really. I mean, they made it once, and that's what they've stuck to for 25 years. Variants, already talked about that in mine. Cultural impact might be interesting. The LEGO Star Wars droid has become an iconic figure for the LEGO Star Wars collectors and fans, despite being disposable soldiers within the Star Wars universe. The battle droids have a charming, somewhat humorous quality in LEGO form, often depicted in large quantities to reflect their role as cannon fodder in the Star Wars saga. This has made them a fun and desirable figure to include in any LEGO Star Wars collection. Summary: the LEGO battle droid has gone through several iterations since its debut in 1989. It started as a simple, minimalistic design and evolved over the years into a more detailed, articulated, and accurate representation of the droid army from the Star Wars prequels. Throughout its history, it has been released in numerous sets, each time with slight improvements and adaptations to reflect the evolving design standards of LEGO and the growing popularity of the Star Wars franchise. Not really, because they really haven't changed all that much. And that brings me into my final slight point. Do we think the Battle Droid needs to be upgraded? Obviously, ChatGPT thinks it already has, but it really hasn't besides those very few changes, not near the level that ChatGPT says it has. I think it's timeless. I really think that the B1 is one of the best figures that LEGO has made, and I am okay if they don't change it. I'm not going to be too mad if they do upgrade it and give it like more posable things. I know a lot of people do. That's a lot of conversation. Some people have started making B1 battle droids that are posable with and new, more accurate, even more accurate looking heads and different stuff, and that's fine. If you guys want to do that, that's totally fine. But for me personally, I don't think it needs to be changed. I think it is a timeless figure, and truly, I think it's one of the best figures that LEGO has ever made. But let me know down below, do you think it's one of the best figures that LEGO has made, or did they cheap out at some point? Do you think it is far past time for LEGO to make new battle droids, or do you think the design of the B1 battle droid is timeless and still up to today's standards? Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.